regardless if you want to lie down or sit, to find some connection, find your breath. And we'll just settle in and sort of release ourselves to the floor. You may soften your gaze or close your eyes and ask yourself, what could I do to make myself 10% more comfortable? Might be a little wiggle here, a little wiggle there. Just trying to release 10% more. And start to notice your breath. Find the rhythm of your breathing, the inhale and the exhale. You might want to tap into the sensation of the air flowing in and out of your nose. And then just becoming aware of what that breath feels like this morning. Again, recognizing for what it is and letting go of any judgments on that breath. Now I invite you to take the largest inhale you've taken all day. Take a real big inhale in, expanding the chest, the belly, the ribs coming as far apart as they can, feeling those ribs on the back body down towards the floor. And then as you've taken that big breath in, go ahead and release that breath. Feel that compression, that sinking of the body, the ribs recoiling back into the midline. And then focus back to that soft, even breath. We'll bring our awareness to our fingers and toes and allow them to have a little bit of movement. Might feel good to move the head from side to side. Just gently allowing some movement to come into the body. And then when you're ready, you're welcome to take a nice long body stretch. If you're lying, you can reach above your head. If you're seated, you can just reach up to the sky. Finding space any which way in that body. Might feel good to move a little bit into it. And then releasing those hands, bringing them down to your side. You can slowly press yourself up to your side body. And then slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. That might be cross-legged for you, or might be stacking ankles on ankles. That's how I'm sitting this morning, an ankle on ankle, rather than across. Good. And then from here, we'll just for a moment, just try to find a nice long spine. So take a deep breath in, feel the spine sort of lift up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in, and then a deep breath out. And just trying to find as much length through your spine as possible. So really trying to lift out of the pelvis. Good. and then allow the legs to sort of kick forward. We'll bring them into a sort of bent knee position, heels in the ground here. So sitting up tall, we're going to slowly allow ourselves to hinge forward towards those thighs, bringing torso, chest towards the thighs. Let the head be long, nice long spine in the neck, and then drop those fingertips down. So just to start, a really soft forward fold. You might want to lift the toes a little bit towards the shins just to get a little bit more of a pull in the back of the lower leg. A little bit of a rock side to side. Good. And then walk those fingertips back up. We'll straighten those legs a little bit more, find a bit more space, and take our fingertips out towards the side. Let's squeeze those shoulder blades together and try to bring that heart forward without really letting those ribs pop out. So keep the ribs down as you squeeze those shoulder blades back. Try to keep that chin parallel to the floor. Try not to lift or tuck too far. And then slowly walk those fingertips beside the thighs, coming forward into a bit more of a forward fold. Let that head come down, looking down between the legs or the sides of the legs, allowing yourself to sort of wiggle a little bit and see if you can get yourself a little bit further forward. The knees may want to start to straighten a bit more, but really press into those heels to get really grounded through the heels as well as through the pelvis. Take a breath here and a breath out. You might feel a little bit more coming forward. Then walk those fingertips back. We'll sit nice and tall once more, but this time let's bring our hands so that they come a little bit further behind us. So even a bit further back here, instead of here, a little bit further back. And from here, lift that chest, squeeze those shoulder blades, and then allow those ribs to come open a bit. So you can flare a little bit through those ribs, a little bit more of a back bend instead of a chest opener. Good. Keep that chin sort of tucked. And then walk those hands forward. We'll hinge over those legs. Those legs might be completely straight now or still a slight bend. You can decide where your forward fold will take you this morning. The hands may come towards the ankles, the feet, around the feet, by the toes, whatever it feels that you can sort of grab onto, ground yourself, make a connection between the hands and the legs, a bit of a bind of sorts, connecting the two. And then take a chance to move your toes. So in this forward fold, try to spread your toes all the way apart as best they can. They feel maybe a little funny sometimes. Try to spread apart and then bring back to normal. And spread apart, finding space in between each of these digits as best you can, and then closing them up. One more time, open, find as much space between those toes as you can. Excellent. And then release, walk those hands up. We're going to take ourselves to a wide stance with those legs. So spread them open into sort of a V shape. And it doesn't have to be like, woo, splits. It can just be, something comfortable. We're not going for a huge space. Really press down through those ankles. So just take a moment and press and then see if those toes can also spread apart. So we can activate our feet while they're upright like this by spreading those toes. And if you're anyone like me and have worn shoes that have made my toes sort of like scrunch in, anyone wears high heels sometimes? I don't anymore, but those toes kind of get scrunched in those shoes. So trying to find some space, really big space to spread those feet out. Awesome. And from here, really press down through that pelvis, sitting up nice and tall. We'll shift our weight over towards that right leg. So a little bit of twist at the waistline here, and then slowly hinging forward just towards that single leg. Drop those hands down to frame the leg. And no need to go deep as of yet. We're going to get there. Even though we've been doing some forward folding, that the side single leg ones still need a moment because we've got the inner thighs now part of the game here. They want to limit our forward folding a bit. You might feel that there or the back of the thighs. Good. We'll walk up, come to center, rotate over left side now, and then hinge forward, walking those fingertips forward, thinking of a nice long line through the spine. Try not to crunch through the back. Good. And then walking back up. We'll take our left knee and bend it now and bring the bottom of the left foot into the inner thigh. Let's see how that changes things. So rotate over the right leg and then hinge forward and see, do you have a bit more movement there now because you've brought that left leg in? Maybe, maybe not. Just be curious. See what's happening in your body this morning. This allows a little bit more of a lumbar stretch here as we brought that other leg in, and then walk those fingertips up. We will switch legs now, fancy dance work here. Switch legs, rotate that torso, press that heel down, spread those toes if you'd like, and walk those fingertips down. So again, what's happening in those hips this morning? Is there a little bit of movement, a little bit of tightness? Both sides, definitely different. Good. And then walk ourselves back up. Spreading those legs apart again. Just take a moment to ground down into that pelvis. You might want to lift up or sort of move those buttock cheeks away just to get that sort of connection to the floor. This time we'll take our right hand and slide it down the right leg. So we'll come more into like a side bend as we come down here. Now the hand can stay on top of the shin, the forearm on shin, or it might be able to come down to the ground. So you decide where that is. Other hand, my left hand can stay on my left hip just to sort of help get me some space. It can also come to the left shoulder as well. So just see, where does that need to be to get you into this best position? Gaze can look forward, or the tendency might be to look up as well. Good. And then coming up, we'll come to the other side, slide that left hand down. Just figure out where that torso is, that side bend. Arm can come down to the ground if you'd like. And then open up, a bit of spiral. You might feel that pull on that right side of the body. Good, allowing the arm to come up, sliding up. We'll come right on over back to that right side. This time, see if those fingertips can come up and over. Getting that long lengthening through the left side. Trying to keep that nice long neck, so don't let the head fall. Keep the neck working as you bring the side body over. Good, and breathe. Can you open your chest up a little bit? Spiral that top shoulder back. Awesome. And then come all the way up, going right into the other side. Slide yourself over. Can you bring that hand with you all the way over the top? Good work, everybody. Spiral that chest open. Really use the side body on that right side. Can you open it up? Open it up. Press into those heels. Don't forget those feet. Spread through those toes if you need to. And then reach all the way up. Awesome. Bring those feet in to each other. Bringing those heels into the groin for a second. Again, a little rock to side might feel good. Now think about the toes. Press them together. If you can, try not to look at those toes. Just see if you can sense the pressure, big toe to big toe, middle toes to middle toes, pinky toe on pinky toe. Make that connection and then sit and lift up through the spine. Awesome. We'll take the right hand to the left thigh. We'll take the left hand back behind us to the ground, and we'll sit up nice and tall as we spiral around that spine, lower belly, mid belly, chest. We'll rotate in this bound angle pose. You may not feel like you can go as far. Stay heavy through that right hip, sitting nice and tall. Good, and then unravel yourself, taking your left hand over to the right knee, press those right fingertips back, sitting up nice and tall, spiral all the way around as best you can. Around that spine, the head may look over the right shoulder or not. Good. And then slowly unwind. Take those ankles now and walk them away. So just go ahead and make your diamond shape here a little bit more equidistant. So it's not super tight. It's closed up a little bit. Place your elbows on those knees and slowly hinge forward from those hips. Nice long through the spine. You may not go super far. Good. Try to think about those shoulder blades right now and spread them apart. Open up the back, feel the skin on your low back spreading between each of those hips. So real big opening on the back body. And it might feel like you can wiggle a little bit further forward. Maybe, maybe not. See how that feels. And then take a look at your feet. You may walk your hands towards your feet and just give them a little bit of a little generous rub. You can take your thumbs and rub into the arches of your feet in this forward fold position. Those feet might need a little bit more TLC this morning. Awesome. And then glide those hands all the way up those shins, sitting up nice and tall. We'll take our right leg and send it forward, bend that left knee and bring it a nice and tight close to our body as best you can. Again, pressure down through that heel. Sit up on something if you need to. I know I've got my block right underneath me here. Give me a bit of lift if that doesn't feel good. Here we go. Taking our right hand, squeezing in on that left thigh. We'll go into another twist, sending those fingertips on the left side back, rotating towards that bent knee. Might feel quite a bit of a difference in how much you can rotate. You might have a little bit more give or a little bit more movement now that we've closed those hips up. Those inner thighs can dictate a lot of our movement. And so once they're not in a stretch position, they allow that spine to move a little bit better. Good, and unravel. From here, we'll shoot our left fingertips up nice and high. We'll take our right fingertips just down to the side, and we're going to thread this arm, this top arm, inside that bent knee. So we're coming inside. You might feel a shoulder to knee connection here. So left arm inside of left leg, reaching forward to those toes. Now, you may not touch those toes, that's fine, but we're getting a different sort of opening through the low back. Connect and press that left thigh into left shoulder. So press and strong as we're getting a lengthening through that right leg. You may have your left fingertips up as well or back here by the hip, whatever feels supportive to you. Now this pose is so interesting. Over time, if you dare think about this, is we would thread our other arm around, we take our left arm and thread it around that and connect the two. We don't need to do that today, but know that in time, we may be able to get there. We'll go through that in the future. Good, and then use that arm to draw a rainbow and lift yourself back up to that seated position. Great job. Drop those fingertips down, clasp that knee with the right arm, and we'll go back into that twist. So twist it out here. Oh, this feels good. Nice release a bit through that low back after that strong forward fold. Good. And then release. Drop that left leg down, hands on those kneecaps. Just give them a bit of a shake out. And we'll come to the other side. So generously bending the right knee, bring it all the way in as best you can, planting that right foot down, grabbing that right leg with the left arm, right fingertips back behind, sitting tall. And here we go, twisting towards that knee, our closed twist in towards that other leg. Dig in through that heel if you can, spread those toes. Make that awareness between that floor and heel of the left foot. Good, and then unravel yourself. Send those right fingertips up. Remember, we're coming on the inside of this right leg, and allow yourself to hinge forward. Shoulder of the right side, pressing into the right knee, coming towards the toes. Left hand can stay grounded back here, or it can come forward. So reach, reach, reach. Good work, everybody. Now add that pressure. Right shoulder, right knee. Can you feel that? So right knee is trying to come in, right shoulder is trying to go out, right? And then see how that affects your forward folding here. That extra little kind of compression between the two sides or the two parts of the body. Good. Now allow that right hand to reach all the way up. Reach, 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 reach. Let it come all the way back. Bring that left arm to right knee. And we're going to rotate, rotate, rotate. Come back into that twist. Good work. Head can look forward, or you might feel like you want to look back over the right shoulder. And then unspiral yourself. Kick that right leg out and give those legs a bit of a shake out. Awesome. So we'll slide those legs off to the side and we'll come up into a hands and knees position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Go ahead and take a glance back to see if you see your feet between your legs, you need to bring them a little bit wider. Try to find the nice longest spine that you can. So crown of the head all the way down to the tip of your tailbone. Super nice and long, finding space there. Good. You might want to just knock those hips from side to side for a moment. We've done a fair amount on those hips already this morning. Just a little gentle bump side to side. Tuck those toes under, lift those knees up, coming into a tabletop plank. Hold it here. Strong energy through the middle, lifting up, hold it, embrace, and then press those hips back, keeping the knees up. Lift those hips nice and high all the way into a downward dog. Give those legs a bit of a pedal out, back and forth, feeling good. And then when you're ready, find some stillness. Just settle into that position. It might feel good to press back with those hands, flicking that pelvis up. Take a nice deep breath in and nice deep breath out. Take your nose and glide it forward, looking forward to your hands. Step forward with your right foot. So I'm going to come to face you here. So from here, drop your left knee down and then come to bring the torso upright. So we've got sort of this 90 degree at both knees and at both the front hip. So from here, just place your hands onto your pelvis and just see where those hips are in space. So if you feel like they're sort of open, adjust, sort of see where they are. Surprisingly, this position can be very tricky for balance because we've really got only the back of the lower leg and the foot and then the front foot. So we kind of feel a little unstable. So just see where you are here. This might be just enough. Good. Then walk those fingertips down, bring the torso towards the thigh. What we'll do is we'll pick up our back foot, place the toes under, lift the knee, and then scooch it back a little bit further. So we're trying to increase the length through the back leg. So adjust that. You can untuck the toes and then come up again. It might be that you come here, or you might want to come all the way up here. So we feel that we have a bit more opening through that back hip. Good, and come back down. Again, tuck the toes. Wiggle the leg back a bit. Little bit further. Don't worry, we won't do splits today, I promise. Untuck those toes, sitting up or coming all the way back up. So a deeper lunge, a deeper stretch to the front of that hip. You should feel that back leg getting a real big stretch to the front of the hip. Watch those hips, see if they're square, you're not falling into them. Good. And then slowly come back forward. Now, tuck those toes under and let's see if we can just come up into this low lunge. We've brought that foot a fair ways back, and then just see if you can square the hips to the front short end of your mat. Really trying to pull this front hip back hip trying to come forward into this low lunge. Holding it here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and lower that back knee down. Find that position that feels most supportive for you so that you can come up to this upright position. So that might be that the knee needs to scoot in a little bit more. That's fine. From here, take your hands into prayer position in front of your heart. We'll rotate towards that front leg and then see if you can drop that elbow down towards that thigh, stacking arm over arm. So shoulders should try to be stacked. Press into those hands as you rotate. And then the knee may start to kind of creep up the back of the arm, not necessarily the elbow. Again, this takes a lot of balance. So hold yourself here. Rotate as best you can. And if it's available to you, you can pop up onto that back toe. So the knee can come off the ground and we come into that sort of high lunge. If not, stay down on the knee. No problemo. Good work, everybody. Rotate, keep those hands at the chest, hands at the prayer position. Drop those fingertips down. Fantastic work, everybody. Drop. Now we want to come up on that left back foot, and then we'll drop that right foot back, come all the way back into that downward facing dog, and just walk it out. Nice walk out. Whew. Lots of work on those hips. We're working the hips this morning. I apologize. Focusing on getting some space and movement. Lots of balance also included. Okay, we'll look forward up to those hands, bringing that left foot forward. Drop that knee down. Again, we're looking for that 90-90 here again. Those two nice angles in those legs. And then come up and see where you are in space. Hands can be on the pelvis. Just check, like, what's happening in my pelvis? Am I really open? Or have I kept them together? They're in the same position facing that short end of the mat. Allow those hands to come down to the mat, tuck those back toes under, and wiggle that leg back ever so slightly. And we'll come into more of a front hip flexor stretch. Taking those fingertips up if you can, coming back into this upright position, feeling an openness to the front of this hip a little bit more. Good. Allowing that torso to come back down, pop up on those back toes and walk that foot back a little bit more. Drop the knee down, untuck those toes. This might be good enough here. You might want to just keep the torso down, hands on the mat. Or if you want to get that stretch a little bit deeper, bring those hands up to the top of the thigh. Awesome. Press that back hip forward, that front hip coming back. Really try to find that pelvis, the middle. Find the middle. That's what's going to give you balance and stability. Good work. Hinge forward, drop those fingertips down. Come up onto those toes into that low lunge. Kick the heel back on that back foot. Really press it back, but equally try to keep that pelvis staying forward. So we want to find a really long length and engagement through the back leg while we try to find strength and stability in that front foot. Is what's holding us here. Good. For 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and lower that knee and maybe scooch it forward just a tiny bit. Untuck those toes, coming up again, but this time take your hands to that prayer position, bringing it to the chest. We're going to rotate towards that left thigh, dropping our right elbow down towards that knee, and potentially getting that sort of spiral action of the torso, spiraling and opening up and away. I'm just going to move my body so I'm facing you. So we're rotating around, trying to make that connection between the arm and the leg again. Press into those hands. Press as best you can. Rotate, rotate, and breathe. And if it's there for you, you might want to pop up onto that back toe and lift that back thigh. Strong pose here. Breathe. And then slowly unwind. Hands stay at the chest. I'll bring myself back to be back where I was. And then release those hands. Go ahead and drop that left leg back and sink those hips down, finding yourself a nice long child's pose just to release those hips and back. Good work, everybody. We're over halfway class and we haven't even stood up yet, but that was all very strong hip action today. Stretching and strengthening, lengthening. Awesome work. All righty. As you're ready, slowly make your way up to standing, whatever way feels best to you. If you're feeling a little lightheaded, take it slowly. Good. And we'll come to the front of our mat. So step to that front of the mat. From here, just place your hands onto the pelvis here, and we're just going to step back. So this is kind of a little bit of blind faith. I want you just to step your one leg back and come forward, other leg back and forward, knowing that the floor is behind you, being confident that your foot will land on something. Good. One more on each side. Excellent. Come back to that mat, standing nice and tall. Allow those fingertips to float up as you take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, fold forward, bending those knees as much as you need, hinging at those hips, dropping those fingertips down towards the feet. From here, step back with your right foot. Drop the knee down. Lift the torso up, hands to heart center. You know where we're going. We're twisting over to that left thigh, making a contact with the right arm. We were just here. Now we're doing it again in our little bit of a sun salutation. Good. Release that twist. Bring the hands back to heart center. Drop those fingertips down. Lift that back knee up and kick the front leg back to meet the right. Plank pose. Awesome. Slowly lower your body down, down, down to the floor. Untuck your toes. Press the hands under the shoulders and lift the head up. Look forward. Strong baby cobra. Good. Lower that torso down. Now, if you can, press up to plank. If not, press up to tabletop or plank. And then from there, press your hips all the way up to a nice downward facing dog. Walk the dog a little bit. Give it a moment. Catch your breath. And then take your gaze, look forward. We'll step forward with our right foot. Lower that back knee. Hands come up, prayer position. And here we go. Rotate towards that right thigh. Left arm making contact. Stacking those arms, pressing those palms together as you spiral around your spine. Catch a breath. And then rotate, rotate. Bring those hands back down to the floor beside that right foot. Power up that left leg. So maybe come up onto the toe. Get your leg ready because we're going to bring it up with one solid motion. If you can, step forward into our forward fold. Drop that head down.
Let it release, release, release. And then up to you. Do you want to walk those hands up the thighs, or using those arms out to the side, deep breath in, bring the arms all the way up, reaching up towards the ceiling, and then allowing them to float back down. Awesome. Step now to the center of your mat. Without looking at your feet, see if you can get your feet parallel to each other. So see again, know the floor is there. Where are your feet in space? Good. So mountain pose. Go ahead and close your eyes for a moment. Drop those shoulders down. Lift through those inner thighs. Just see how your body feels. Take your weight now into your right foot. Peel your left heel up off the ground. Bringing that left leg off the ground and thigh at the parallel. So bend your knee on your left leg, thigh parallel to the floor. And hold there for a moment. Good. Now, if it's available to you, take your hand to the top of that left thigh and slowly open it up like a book. Open it up. Good. Balance. Can you get that knee a little bit higher? Open, open, open. And then slowly close that leg up. Good. Now, rather than going out to that side, we're going to actually cross that left leg over the right and hook, if you can, hook that foot around the calf of the right leg. So now we've really closed the book. We've done the opposite action. Can you hinge at those hips and sit back a little bit? Good. Hands may come to a bit of prayer position. Use support of whatever you need. If you need to hold onto the wall, no worries. Good work, everybody. Focus. Root down through that right foot. Now straighten that right leg. Release that left leg. Ooh, I almost fell over there. Good. Kick that leg out straight and then drop it all the way down. Awesome job. Lower those hands. Just come into mountain again. Just feel maybe the difference between the right and the left side now. Do you feel a little difference maybe through that hip? We did a little bit of work there. See if there's a difference. All right, ground into that right foot. Ground into your left foot. Peel up your right foot. Bring that right thigh parallel to the ground. And then as you're ready, take that right hand on top of the right thigh and then slowly open up that hip. Good work, everybody. Can you bring that right knee a little higher, a little higher? I have magpies flying out my window over here, and I thought it was someone in my backyard, so my balance just went like that because I had to look and see just those silly magpies. Oh, magpies. And slowly bring that leg across the body. Can you cross the leg now? Right over left. If you can hook that foot behind, great. Then sink down a little bit into that. Sink back, sink back. Hands may need to stay on the hips or up into that prayer pose. Make that connection between that breastbone and the thumb as you sink back. I saw a blue jay this week that had like this humongous belly. And I thought, oh, it must be pregnant because we have this couple of blue jays that live in our backyard. And then, you know how they just like bomb dive? He was on the evergreen and just went, and I'm like, wow, a pregnant bird really doesn't show any mercy, just kind of goes for it. Excellent. Press that leg straight. Bring that thigh back up. Let's kick that leg out. Oh my goodness, Lisa, drop that leg down. Good work, everybody. Go ahead and shake those hips out. Awesome. Release those hands. It's kind of fun. I don't know, probably you've been seeing some extra wildlife by your house too, out your windows, but that blue jay caught my eye this week. Alrighty, so let's take our legs generously apart here. I think we've worked a little bit about this pose before, a little bit more hip work this morning. We'll take our right heel and press it into the ground as we lift our right toes up. So just give that a bit of try first. Just isolate through that right ankle, kind of like that driving foot. Good. And then next time you're on your heel, rotate the whole entire leg and open it up. Drop the toes down. Awesome. Now this side leg, this left leg, might want to angle a little bit. So that 45-degree angle to the mat, you might want to play with a bit there. Good. Hands can come to hips to begin with, and we're just going to rock that pelvis a little bit side to side. Good. Just feel that movement, trying to keep those feet solid on the ground. Then as you've got the hip pressed out towards your left, let those fingertips float up. And they are going to reach as far as you can. Reach, 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 reach. And then once you feel like you've had the most reach, you can tip over. Palm can be down on the ground, inside of the shin, inside of the knee, wherever you are today. Long through the spine. Really ground down through both big toes and pinky toe. Really feel strong on your legs. You're stable. And then open that chest a little wider. Can you spiral it back a bit more? Finding space. That gaze might come up towards the top hand. If the shoulder's not loving this top hand here, hand can come to shoulder or to hip, but really try to spiral. Open, 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 open. Find that release through that left side body. Excellent work. Now use the strength of your legs. Press down through your feet as you lift yourself all the way back up. Awesome. Drop those hands down. Press into that right heel as you lift those right toes up. Rotate that whole leg in. We'll come to the other side, lifting that pressing into that left heel, lifting the left toes, just a couple toe taps. This might feel a little bit awkward simply because we may not use our left foot in the same way as we do with our right. For those of us who are driving, I'm not driving that much lately, but using that leg is not as often. And then press into that left heel, open up that left leg, drop those left toes down. Back leg, you might want to angle just a tiny bit. Hands to the hips, taking those hips side to side. Watch that that front knee doesn't lock out either. So there should be just a tiny bit of a bend there. And I'm guilty as always going way too extended. So just be watchful of that. Awesome. And once those hips are pressed out to the right, let those fingertips float up, shoulder height. Good. Really ground into your feet as you reach to the wall ahead of you. Reach, 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 reach. And once you feel you've reached enough, drop that hand down, finding space long through the two sides of your body. Watch that the knees aren't locking out, soft bend. Arm stacked on arm. Hand can stay on that shoulder if you need. Top arm. Then spiral that chest open. That gaze may look up. Really find length long through the head. Try to think of your head as an extension of your spine. So we want to be long. We don't want to let it fall down. So keep it long. Hold it here, everyone. Breathing. And now press through those feet. Really press. Lift up, lift up, lift up. Coming back. Drop those hands down to the hips, press down through that heel, lift those toes up and bring those toes facing forward. All right, quickly over to the other side again. Heel, press down, lift those toes, rotate that leg, move that hip out to the side, float those arms up, reaching out and tipping all the way over. Now we're going to add on here It's going to be, this is triangle. We're going to try reverse triangle. I know we haven't done it before, but stick with me. I'll walk you through it. So from here, my top left arm is going to come down. I'm going to pivot on my back foot and sort of come into this straight-legged sort of pyramid position. I'm going to plant my left hand. This time my right hand is going to open up and I'm spiraling towards that right thigh. So maybe we have done this one. It's possible, but the back heel might be up a little bit, but we've reversed our triangle. Now drop your fingertips down from your right side, and then we're going to pivot again, dropping that back heel down, opening up again with our left arm. So it was sort of this fold down and rotate the other way, and now we've opened ourselves up again. So we'll try it on the other side, not to worry. Press down through those feet, lift yourself all the way back up, lower those hands to the hips, alternate those feet, press into that heel, rotate, rotate. Here we go, lift up the other side, rotate those feet, press that hip back and away to the right, lift those arms up, and slowly hinge over, triangle. Okay, here we are. Now, we're taking those right fingertips. They're going to spin and spiral over and around, come up onto your back heel, plant that right hand down. Left fingertips are now going to open up towards our left thigh as we spiral ourselves around the other way. So reverse triangle. Trying to keep a nice bend through both knees, not too much, but just a bit so we're not hyperextending. And then slowly drop the left fingertips down, drop the right heel down as you open up back into triangle. Wow, what an adventure. Triangle and reverse triangle. Good work, everybody. Press into those feet and then slowly bring yourself back up. Drop those hands down. Heel toe your feet now together and come to a standing position. All righty, lots of twisting around the torso today. Take a nice deep breath in and a nice deep breath out. Again, deep breath in and deep breath out. Awesome. This time, as we deep breath in, clasp those hands together and then make your hands into that little tiny steeple. So pointer fingers are up, taking that nice long reach, and we'll come all the way over to the right and up and all the way over to the left and up. One more time, each side, getting that nice side body stretch, reaching that pointer finger over to the opposite wall. Good, and all the way up and over one last time. Awesome job. Reach as high as you can and release the breath, release the arms. Awesome job. Let's take ourselves down towards the floor. We'll come to a seated position. So whichever way you want to get yourself there, you go ahead and come on down to a seat. We'll plant our feet in front of us, knees bent. And from here, let's sit up nice and tall. So think about nice tall spine. Hands come behind the thighs, and we're slowly going to sit ourselves back as I lift one leg and then maybe the other, coming into a boat pose. Now, if you want a little bit more, release those hands. They can come out to the side, palms facing the ceiling. Lift the heart up, strong through the middle here. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Allow those hands to come down. Drop the feet. Sitting forward. Now take your knees tight into those armpits, nice and wide, and grab underneath those thighs. You may clasp your hands and then tuck your chin. Look down. So just getting a little release through the neck and through the back. Awesome. Release those hands. Let's go back to our boat. Now, lots of options here. Hands can stay behind the thighs. Shift that torso back. You can do one leg at a time, or if you want to get both legs up, go ahead and lift both up. Hands can release from behind the thighs. And if you're so inclined, you can straighten one leg and then the other. Holy Dinah, lots of strength here. Trying to keep the integrity of your spine. So really strong through your boat. For 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and drop those feet. This time we'll come into a tight little ball. So legs come close together. Grab underneath those thighs and tuck the chin all the way down and try to touch the forehead to the knees. Getting a little bit of a stretch through that low back. And then it's up to you if you want to take it for a ride here, rolling back and forth on your spine just for a little fun before we finish up, or just slowly get yourself down onto your back. Once you've settled here, you can plant your feet. Knees are going to be bent, adjusting ponytails as you need. And then we'll take our right leg, lift it up so that our knee is bent and shin is parallel to the floor. And then we'll just sort of rotate the knee out to the side. So just bring the foot towards the left knee, just a little bit of rotation here. And then once you feel ready, you've got a little bit of rotation movement there. We'll drop that right ankle onto left thigh. And we'll get a little bit more of a stretch through that hip. If you want, you can slowly lift that left foot up, and then you can thread your right hand between the two thighs and grab the back of the left thigh. So lots of options here. Foot can stay on the ground, foot can come up off the ground, the left foot that is, and then thread through and pull if you want. So just getting a nice release through those hips. We did a lot, like I said, with the hips today. Good. And then slowly release. Bringing both feet back to the floor. Situate where your pelvis is on the floor. Take a little wiggle or two. And then bring the left leg up. We'll again rotate that left hip, moving side to side. Little rotation. You might want to stick your hand right into that hip crease and feel that joint moving. And then as you're ready, taking that left ankle to right thigh. Allowing that left knee to fall out to the side. If you want to get more, lifting that right leg up and threading the left hand through the two thighs, grabbing hold, getting that release through that hip. Active to both your feet if you can too. Trying to get a little energy through those feet. We've been talking about spreading the toes today, as well as using the heels in many of our poses. So don't let those feet go floppy just yet. And then slowly release both feet to the floor. Take your feet as wide as your mat, and then allow the knees to knock in together. So you're allowing the movement to roll in, the two knees kiss, and you might feel a spreading in the low back. Sort of finding length through the tissue that runs through the buttocks area and the low back. Make sure those feet are connected to the floor. I would say the pinky wants to be off a little bit. So see if you can get that pinky down. See how that makes things feel a little different. And then slowly let those knees come back up underneath the hips. Take the legs nice and long. Reach those arms above your head and give yourself a nice long body stretch. Should feel really good. Oh, very good. Stretch. And then take a moment right now to figure out, what else do I need? Is there anything else that would feel good in my body?
Would a nice hug of the knees to the chest feel good? Would it feel good to do a twist maybe right now? So just take a moment to explore what your body feels that it needs. And if it doesn't need anything else, go ahead and just release your body completely to the mat, spreading those legs comfortably apart. Hands can rest on the belly or can come out to the side. And just finding a place of comfort and ease as we wrap up our practice today. Take this opportunity to let the body feel the practice we just had, integrating all those big moves through the hips, through the shoulders, the wrists and the ankles. And then taking your breath and letting the breath flow all the way to your toes. Remembering the widening or spreading of those toes. Imagine your breath weaving in and out of each of your toes. Then letting that breath glide up past the ankles. May swirl around those ankles as well. Up through the shin bones, the knees, and all the way up to those hips. Let the breath glide up and down your lower body. Just like a wave would come in and come out. Just like your breath comes in and out. Now direct that breath through the pelvis, through the abdominal area and up to your chest. Let that breath sit up onto your shoulders and soften those shoulders down, down, down. Let that breath glide down both of your arms and around each and every finger. Let the breath move in and out like a wave through the torso and the arms. And finally, letting that breath travel up the throat and across the face, all the way to the crown of the head. Releasing any tension in the cheeks, in the forehead, and anywhere around the jaw. Let your entire breath glide up and down your entire body like a wave in and out. And softly bringing your awareness back into your space. Bringing some gentle movements. It might feel good to move the head from side to side. Taking that movement maybe through the fingers and wrists, the ankles and toes, And then if it feels good in your body, you might want to make a nice long body stretch or curl up and come into that tiny fetal position, whatever serves your body right now. Take a couple breaths and get yourself into a nice fetal position. And as you're ready, after a couple breaths, you can press yourself up back to a seated position. And we'll finish our practice today. We'll just bring our hands to our heart center, bowing our heads to ourself in gratitude for showing up today on the mat and listening to our body and what our body needs today. The light in me sees the light in all of you. Namaste.